So I saw Wakanda Forever a few nights ago, and honestly, my feelings are still unsettled. I saw it on Thursday, and I'm recording this Sunday night because I've been processing my feelings and trying to figure out exactly how I feel, and Still to this day, I still don't really know how I feel. I thought there were some great things done in this film, but there was something missing. Maybe it was T'Challa, I'm not sure. Now, don't get me wrong, the movie was good. Probably 8 out of 10 and the second best movie in this phase. I still put Shang-Chi as number 1. I think in this review, the easiest way to do it is I'm going to go over character by character. I think that might be the easiest way to flesh out my thoughts and feelings. Letitia Wright, honestly, to me, was the standout in the film. A lot of people said it was Angela, and we'll get to Miss Basset later, trust me, but Letitia honestly surprised me the most. Shuri's character development from Black Panther 1 to this film was remarkable. She had to grow up extremely quick because we can't forget that she was blipped for 5 years. So when we last saw her, she was a young teenage girl, and now she's matured into a young woman. We know the blip feels like 5 seconds to the people who were gone, but to the rest of the world, they moved on for 5 years. So those people missed out on a lot of time. So to see how the director aged her up, but yet kept the innocence of a little kid expressing the grief of losing her big brother was well done. We were able to walk through some of the stages of grief with her. Denial, anger, and finally acceptance. The expression of denial was portrayed through her constant need to work. Tinker, kind of mirroring Tony Stark from Iron Man 3. Anger from the passing of her mother and brother caused her to manifest Killmonger in the ancestral plane, which I thought was really, really interesting, that depending on your emotions, it can determine which ancestor you come in contact with. We also got to witness her struggle with science versus religion and spirituality. She didn't really want to participate in a lot of the customs her mom wanted her to use to help ease her pain of loss. We also got to see her guard come down a few times in the movie. She didn't grieve the full time. She wasn't just walking around sulking and upset. We kind of got to see a little variety and diversity. When her and Riri Williams met, she was able to kind of be around a peer, someone close to her age who shared similar interests in STEM. She, just like her mom, was willing to sacrifice herself for Riri. She decided to go to Talocan to try and negotiate with Namor to understand his perspective a little bit more. She welcomed his customs and had empathy for his struggles. Even though Riri kind of sparked the idea of drying Namor out while they picked her up in the dorm room, it was a full circle moment to see that they decided to use the ship as a sauna to dehydrate him. Now, I did think it was kind of particular that Wakanda didn't have a navy ready to go. Like, they have air support, they have infantry, but they were absolutely not prepared for the wrath of Talocan. All in all, Letitia Wright stepped up to the plate. I would be lying if I said I wasn't concerned and scared for the weight that was on her shoulders to take over this role. There were rumors she didn't want to do it. There was rumors she never wanted to be Black Panther. That's not what she signed up for. So, of course, going into this movie, I was like hesitant, but walking out, I felt like, you know what? She did a really good job. She held her own. So, kudos to Letitia. Namor. Okay. Tenoch as Namor was perfect. The MCU almost never misses with casting, and this was spot on. Making these characters be of Mayan descent was so well thought out and interesting. Now, I must admit, it seems like the pace did slow down a tad bit when we hit Talocan, but I still loved everything about it. Man, to see the duality come shining through Tenoch was great. He went from a kind gentleman to a fiery warrior. He went from being soft and showing hospitality to Shuri to owning Ramonda's death. He stood in drowning her, and he said, "You are the queen now." Might be one of the most piercing lines I've heard in the MCU. On the flip side, I wish we got a tad bit more of Namora. Like, I felt like I left with so many questions about her. Was she a wife? Was she a cousin? Was she a direct descendant because he's over 500 years old? Maybe a great-great-great-granddaughter or niece? I'm pretty sure we're either going to end up with a Namor movie or some type of Disney Plus show, but I left wanting a little bit more from Namora. Atuma was wonderful. I really wanted him and MBaku to kind of knuckle up, but Okoye wanted all the smoke. Like, she wanted all the smoke from Atuma. Now, she held her own because she had to fight 4 of them on that bridge, but Atuma gave her some blows that made me wince. Like, wow, he's super strong. Another good thing about the Talocan or Talocanese, I don't know what the plural version of Talocan is. Let's just say Talocan. We're going to go with that. So another good thing about the Talocan was the use of the siren in the score. Yo, Ryan Coogler and Ludwig did an amazing job dabbling into the mythology of sirens and how they were rumored used to lure sailors into their suicidal death. To flip it and bring it into present day was so fire. I remember watching it and it immediately gave me flashes of The Happening from M. Night Shyamalan. Now, I never watched Bird Box, but people told me it was a similar scenario, so that was brilliant. Yo, I want more of Namor, Namora, and Atuma immediately. I don't know where they will show up again, but I need to see these guys. I also like that Talocan was not filmed like Avatar or Aquaman. Those movies tend to show the underwater scenes as being extremely clear, of course for visual purposes. But I love that Ryan Coogler decided to make the underwater community kind of dark and murky. It gave more so a realistic visual of what life really looks like underwater. Like, it's not clear. I'm not going to say we've all, but a lot of us have swam in the ocean before, and it's just not that clear, especially the further you go down. I also thought it was dope that these jokers use whales as Ubers. Like, I've made jokes for years about Idris Elba playing Heimdall and being Thor's personal Uber. So to see that the Talocan use whales as Ubers was just like funny, hilarious, and just so well thought out. Like, I would have loved to be in the writer's room and hear them say, like, yo, so how do they get from one place to another? And someone's like, duh, they use whales and dolphins. Such a nice touch. Namor and his ability to fly came off well on screen. I was a little concerned about how he would move, but they made it look awesome. Like, he was swift, fast, ready to go. All in all, I loved the Talocan and Namor and his community. I love that the Latino or the Hispanic community was able to get some representation in this movie. I'm sure it was really like it was heartfelt to people to see them expand on like the Mayan and the Aztec culture. And I understand Namor's rage. I seen a comment somewhere and someone was like, they said Namor's ambitions were not well thought out. They were like, the movie started out with him wanting to get rid of colonizers, but he ended up just killing Wakandians. Did we not watch the same movie? Like, they killed a lot of people from the U.S. military. Like, I know at least 10 to 15 of those soldiers committed suicide. Not to mention the ones that they grabbed who were underwater. Like, they took some colonizers out. All in all, I can't wait until we see Namor again. Tenoch was awesome. Perfect casting. I can't envision no one else being Namor. I like the new twist on it. It was great. Angela. Auntie Angie. Angela Basset is kind of like Michael Jordan or LeBron James. Every game, we expect her to score at least 25. Period. She shows up. We expect greatness. She's been doing this for over 30 years. I think the first movie I saw her in was Boys in the Hood in like 1991. A couple years later, she did What's Love Got to Do with It, and then Malcolm X, and so on and so on. So we always expect MVP level performances from her. If she doesn't get an Oscar nomination for this role, it's just pure madness. Now, I don't know if she's going to win, because I knew she was going to die in this film, but I honestly thought she was going to die more so towards the end. I think if we gave her the full movie to really flesh out Ramonda, she could have probably locked in an Oscar win. But with them killing her so soon, I don't know if she's going to get the win, but she definitely deserves a nomination. I wish we saw flashes of her fighting like in What If and her going out in battle. I wish she would have died in battle. But, however, the more I sit on it, I'm okay with her passing away from saving IronHeart because it brings into play the village and motherly mindset. I think she looked at IronHeart as like a daughter figure. Like she's just a child involved in something way bigger than even she's aware of. I also believe if she knew her husband left Killmonger behind, she would have wanted to bring him home. She doesn't give me like passive queen energy. Now, some people stated she was too emotional for firing Okoye, but I 1000% agree that Okoye should have been fired. We will touch more on Okoye and the Dora Milaje in a few, but when that first Wakanda Forever teaser trailer dropped, Angela Basset completely sold the movie with that trailer. So she deserves all the praise that she's getting. She deserves everyone saying she should get an Oscar nomination. Angela Basset, Angela. You are appreciated. You are greatness. I'm glad Danai Gurira had a little bit more range in this movie. This film revolved around loss, and her losing her position was heavy on her. It kind of mirrors John Walker's scene in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, when you give your life to a country and then you make a mistake and you're completely discarded. The multitude of emotions showcased in that scene with Queen Ramonda and Okoye, it was just perfect. Okoye showed anger, embarrassment, regret, and sadness. When you've been held to such a high standard and then it's immediately wiped away, like, that's a serious loss for some people. Like, people take things like that really hard. So this film did a good job showing how different characters responded to different losses. Like, yeah, Okoye lost TChalla, but she also lost her position. She also lost her husband. And so that whole throne room scene with her and Angela Basset was just well thought out. It was great. The acting between those two ladies was phenomenal. Now, I do agree she deserved to be fired. I will die on that hill because she kept insisting on taking Shuri. Queen Ramonda said Shuri should not go. She shouldn't go. She had that feeling in her gut that Shuri just shouldn't be on this mission. We just saw this in House of the Dragon. You do not let the prince or the princess go on missions during a turbulent time. But Okoye kept insisting. I'm sorry. She had to go. Now, I do believe Okoye will have her position back. I don't believe she's permanently ousted. I think, if Shuri is the Black Panther and it seems like MBaku is now the ruler or king or maybe a number 2 to Shuri, I think Okoye will be brought back into the ranks and probably given her position back. The Dora Milaje was awesome as usual. Every time they're on the scene, they're just great. The scene with the Jabari tribe holding them on ropes to attack the Talocan was just fire. Now, don't get me wrong. Hands down, Wakanda lost that battle. Like, Namor and his crew beat us bad. Like, we lost. He just bent the knee. We really lost. Namor and his folks was applying that pressure, but the Dora Milaje is always fierce. We lost, but we look good doing it. Other Doras we were introduced to was Nakia, which is the character played by Michaela Cole. Now, I personally didn't like that they tried to sneak the romance in between her and Ayo. In the comics, they do have a romantic relationship. I personally feel like either you do it or you just stray away from it altogether. I really think Ryan Coogler he's in a lose-lose situation with this relationship with Nakia and Ayo, because there's this saying going around that people feel like there's a gay agenda. Like, they're trying to make the kids gay. They're trying to put gay stuff in everything. So I think him being a creator, he wants to explore that more, but also him being especially a Black man, I think he feels conflicted. I don't think he knows how to handle it. I think until you can figure out how to handle it, I wouldn't even include it. The movie literally got banned. I think it was either in, don't quote me on the country, but the movie got banned in a country for LGBT scenes. Only scene was the forehead kiss between Ayo and Nakia. it should have just been cut. Why even put it in? Because it didn't further the story, and you lost out on opening the movie in a different theater. For what? So that's one of my complaints. I just feel like we shouldn't even be digging into that. Like, don't tiptoe around it. Let's either do it or don't do it. But on the positive side, I love that Anika was so forward thinking, open to using new weapons. She was very progressive. Her and Shuri seems kind of close, and they work on things together. Another great scene was when the Dora fought the French. Man, Okoye walking in and just deflecting bullets off of their spears was just so cool. But you know what I immediately thought? I was like, the Dora needs headpieces. What if somebody tried to shoot one of them in the head? I guess they say they're just too quick and they'll just block it out of the way. But all in all, I love the Dora. I don't think we've ever seen the Dora show up in a bad way. Like, I love them. They're just great. Now, there was a lot of complaints about the shortage of Winston Duke and MBaku being in the film. Now, I slightly agree. He should have had a larger presence in the film. I'm not sure what Coogler was thinking about this. I would love to hear like a director's cut, or for someone to ask him in the interview, like, what was the reason for pulling MBaku back? But what I can say is when he was on screen, he was excellent. Like, he didn't have much time, but when he was there, he did his job. It seems as if his mindset has opened. He took the refugees in and even explained the origins of Namor. I don't know if the MBaku that we first met would have been so open. He actually had big brother energy towards Shuri, and it seems as if the way the movie ended, he's most likely king of Wakanda. If not king, definitely a close second in command to Shuri, because let's rewind back. Remember, Namor said, "You are the queen now." And Nakia's baby is named Prince T'Challa. I'm assuming he can only be a prince if their family is still, on the throne. So I don't know. I'm sure Ryan Coogler has it figured out on how we're going to move forward with MBaku, Shuri, and T'Challa Jr. Now, Nakia also didn't have a major role in the film, but when the camera hit her, my good sis was ready to go. Her finding Shuri so fast just shows how great of a war dog she is. Like MBaku, I think we'll see a lot more of Nakia in the future. Having her settle in Haiti and running a school was such a good idea, because if we remember from the original movie, she kept pushing T'Challa about, let's share our resources. Like, there's so many people out here who need our help and we're not helping. So she's actually living in her calling, Also, a nice little Easter egg that was placed in the movie in Haiti. The address on her house was 1804, which is a very small Easter egg to the year of the Haitian Revolution. Not to mention, T'Challa Jr. was named after Toussaint, who was the leader of this bloody, bloody revolution. I think it's so crazy how there's two films we need before I die. We need to see a Haitian Revolution movie, and we also need to see a Mansa Musa movie. There's a lot of people who don't know about the Haitian Revolution. So I thought it was pretty cool to name T'Challa Jr., his Haitian name be Toussaint, named after a revolutionary. The brilliance of Ryan Coogler brings everything full circle, because in the beginning, the film starts out because it's centered around France trying to steal vibranium from the Wakandian ship. It feeds into the narrative of how much France played a tremendous role in colonization and still in the destruction and demise of Haiti, which leads me to wonder, how is the origin of T'Challa going to play out? I just want to say, I've known for a very, very, very long time there was going to be a T'Challa Jr., but I never knew he was going to be born and raised in Haiti. So to have this Haitian Wakandian blend in a prince, it's going to be extremely interesting. Will he have strokes of Killmonger because he's a child growing up in a land which is underserved, and then you go to Wakanda and see all these resources? Ryan Coogler has to keep his hand on Wakanda, because I feel like he has ideas of how he wants this to move forward, and I feel like everything he does has intention. So I am interested to see what this child's life is growing up. I'm excited to see Nakia as a mother and to watch her grow and raise this kid and to show him how to be compassionate as her, but yet smart, swift, like the Black Widow type spy that she is. I think we will also get to see his auntie teach him how to be the scientist that a lot of people said the original iteration of T'Challa lacked. Like, they didn't really dig into how smart he really was. So maybe we'll get to see that. Hopefully we'll get to watch him train, become a genius, and grow into that strong leader that everybody wants out of T'Challa. I came to the movie for Namor and Riri Williams. I love Dominique Thorne's portrayal of Riri Williams. Riri was given Chicago, black girl magic, young and gifted. She had the jokes to put in at the right time, and she was able to bring in the much needed comic relief, because at times the movie can get heavy, but her comic relief wasn't like weird or uncomfortable like the jokes in Thor Love and Thunder. It's like you would have a heavy moment in Thor Love and Thunder and somebody would just say something stupid or do something stupid. Everything felt natural when Riri would like throw a joke in, and she wasn't even trying to be funny. Like when Shuri came back from the ancestral plane and punched something into the wall, and she was just like, yo, can I get some of that? I'm so excited for IronHeart. Like, I already have a couple IronHeart videos on my page, but I'm so ready for this character. I've seen a lot of people saying like she wasn't really needed. Why did y'all bring her in? But I think it fits into the bigger story, and I enjoyed having Dominique Thorne in this film. Now, like I've stated a couple times, I knew a lot about this movie before it came out. I knew 90% of this film. I knew Valentina was in this movie. However, two things surprised me about Valentina. Number one, she's the freaking CIA director. Number two, she's Ross's ex-wife. Valentina being the CIA director just makes her character so much more interesting. When she popped up in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, even John Walker asked her, like, how did you get in here? Like, looking at her like she's not some well-known, like, politician or secret spy. Well, I guess if she's a secret spy, you're not supposed to know of her, but like, it was made to seem like she's some unknown side contractor dealing with the government. Never had any idea like this lady was in the ranks of the CIA. So to find out exactly what her position and role is in government, it changes a lot. I have so many questions. Is she going to be in charge of the Thunderbolts? What's her role in Secret Invasion? Is she going to be in Armor Wars? Will we catch her in Captain America 4? Yo, the floodgates have been open with her, and I think we're going to see her for a minute. I enjoyed Everett Ross showing back up. He's always a joy to see on screen. He's probably one of the best government officials in the MCU. The rest of them are kind of like trash, like Hayward and that other lady from Miss Marvel. So I enjoyed Everett Ross. I also had a pretty good inclination that Killmonger was going to show back up in this movie. So, of course, seeing Michael B. Jordan sitting on a throne and essentially hell by himself, ruling over nobody, was just perfect. Like, it was so well thought out. At first, a lot of people was confused, like, why is she seeing Michael B. Jordan? Why is she not seeing Ramonda? Why is she not seeing T'Chaka? Why is she not seeing T'Challa? It makes perfect sense to me. She was so angry, she manifested her cousin. And you know, what did he say? Hey, you gonna be like your brother and go the easy way out? Or you gonna be like your cousin and handle business? Like, y'all say what y'all want. Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger is still a top villain in the MCU. I'm gonna do another video another day talking about the best villains in the MCU, because we've gotten some pretty decent villains in Phase 4. I enjoyed seeing Michael B. Jordan in the ancestral plane. That was dope. Now, Ryan Coogler was given an impossible job. This was very personal to this cast, because these past Black Panther appearances, Civil War, Black Panther 1, Infinity War, and Endgame, it seems as if these people really built a close bond with each other and they feel super connected. It doesn't feel like they were just clocking into the job and going home. These people were really invested in each other's lives. So this wasn't just about business to Ryan Coogler. I think the best way for him to handle losing Chadwick was to put it in the script. Like, isn't that art? When you feel something, you rap about it, you sing about it, you paint it. So I think him being able to put all his grief on page and let's bring it out in theater was a great idea. There was literally people calling for him to be fired because they felt like he was too personal to the movie. They wanted him gone because he said he didn't want to recast. And some people were like, well, get him out. Let's put a director in who wants to recast, not realizing the implications of you take Ryan Coogler out, then you got to take out Shuri. Well, let's use their real names. You take Ryan Coogler out, you better believe that Letitia Wright is 100% leaving, Lupita Nyong'o is leaving, Angela Basset is for sure leaving. These people are like a family, and I don't think I've seen that on, well, let me not say that. A lot of the Marvel cast and movies seem very family oriented. The Guardians, Shang-Chi and his crew. So yeah, this was more than business to them. There was so much put into this movie by Ryan Coogler and cast that I can't even begin to dig into the small details and meanings behind some of the choices that were made. He deserves all the roses, and he's on pace to directing the best trilogy in the MCU. I love Ryan Coogler. I think he was given a mountain of a job, and I think he accomplished it. Now, I feel like the soundtrack from Black Panther 1 was better, but the score in Black Panther 2 was superb. Ludwig deserves another Oscar. The updated Dora Milaje score was great. Namor's music was so mesmerizing. The Talocan and mixing the siren call in with the music, just outstanding. Ruth Carter, like always, does an amazing job with costume design. She definitely deserves another Oscar win. Everything that she did with the Talocan were spectacular. Namor's headpieces, they were so well designed and thought out. Some people hated the Midnight Angels costume that Okoye and Nakia wore, but man, they were so comic accurate. I just realized that everything I talked about listed was most of the things I liked and loved. I can't describe what I didn't like. There was a different feeling leaving the theater. When the first movie ended, I felt joy. I think the problem is when I left this movie, I left not knowing or having any direction on where we were going. Is MBaku officially king? Is Toussaint gonna grow up in Haiti or go back home? Will Okoye get her job back? Where will we see Wakanda or the Talocan again? There was a slight emptiness leaving the theater. It could be because of TChalla being missing. I'm not sure. Overall, though, I enjoyed the film. It's definitely number 2 in Phase 4. So Marvel has made a total of 30 movies. I haven't decided where it fits on that scale of 30 movies. I'm sure it's in the top 12. Probably top 10. I'm confident and hopeful that it'll make $1 billion. However, I'm not sure about the rewatchability of this movie. It's kind of like Eternals. Like, I enjoyed it, but I'm not sure if I'll ever want to watch it again. The first Black Panther film, I know I watched it like 4 times in theater. I don't know if I'm willing to go back and watch this one again, you know? And it's not because it was bad. It's just, I don't know if I want to just experience this again. However, I will definitely recommend it to anybody that hasn't watched it. You definitely should see it. So that's all I have for today. Thanks for hanging out with me. Subscribe, help me grow my channel, and peace out, guys. Oh yeah, drop down below. Tell me what you liked and didn't like about the movie. Let's have a conversation.